The Become Worth Following Leadership Academy presents Know Your Values. Visit us at becomeworthfollowing.com.
Have you ever found yourself doing something you really don't want to do? Of course, every day. But if you don't want to do it, then why are you doing it? There must be some deep down reason you're doing it. Somehow you think, when it's over, it'll all be worth it. Deep down, say to yourself, I'm willing to go through a little discomfort, a little pain, and a little work now for it to pay off in the future. Experts say this is because deep down, you value the end result more than you value the present time. This is how your values drive your behavior. If you know someone's values, you know what behavior you will see. Likewise, if you watch their behavior, you know their values. Now, turn your eye on yourself. If you want to know why you're doing something, ask yourself, why am I doing this? What need is it fulfilling? You might be surprised to find out you aren't fulfilling any of your needs, but rather you're doing it because it's a habit. Successful people, and especially successful leaders, pay attention to their behaviors and habits. They ask themselves all the time, is this behavior consistent with my values? Does this behavior get me to where I want to go? If the behavior gets them closer to an outcome they value, then they keep it up. If not, they change their behavior. So first, they take the time to figure out their values. Here's how they do it.
Searching yourself to find your real values is a challenging process, and I'm going to show you some ways of doing that here in just a minute. But first I want to talk about why. Why would you want to do that? Well, what I say is this, is that knowing your values sharpens your focus. Thinking about it this way, like sometimes values conflict with each other. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to make decisions about where you're going to spend your time and where you're going to spend your money and where you're going to spend your resources and your energy and all that stuff. You got to make these decisions. And it makes it a lot easier to make those decisions when you already know what your most important value is. What is your priority? When you do that, you're going to make the right call 100 times out of 100. I would say about 6 months ago, I really looked at a value of mine, and it was my own personal health and fitness. And I would notice that I would be spending a fair amount of time at night, mostly just relaxing, right? And which is a really important thing to do, and I valued that relaxation time. It helped me unplug, it helped me recharge. It was a really big value of mine. But I also realized that I wasn't getting enough exercise. And what I came to realize is that at the end of the day, I just didn't feel like exercising. And so the only time that I could really exercise was at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which meant I had to get up around 4:30. So that meant I had to go to bed at a reasonable time, like sometime around, 9 o'clock. Well, 9 o'clock is way too early for most people to go to bed. And then I asked myself a simple question. What am I doing between the hours of, say, 9 and midnight? Most of the time, I'm sitting back taking care of a different value of mine. That's relaxation. Well, I had to realize that that relaxation value had to take a backseat to my health and fitness value. So I just forced myself. It was forcing myself for a short period of time. I forced myself to go to bed around 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And I did for a while. I felt like I was missing out on a lot of stuff, but mostly the truth of the matter is what I was missing out on was good TV. And the bottom line is that after about a month and a half to 2 months of that just became routine. And then I started to value exercise way more than I valued that relaxation time. How did I really examine my values? Well, I kind of think of it as there's two basic ways that most people talk about it, and I'll just tell you how I did mine. First of all, I looked at this big long list. This is a list of sort of all the things that people can typically value, right? And so what you do is you just kind of take a marker and you say, yep, I like this, I like this, I like this. Oh, you know what? This isn't really a big deal of mine. And then you take a different marker and you say, these are my top 5 priorities. These are my top 5 values, right? And then you have to look at, okay, so what are the things that I'm doing to actually attain these things in my life? And when are times when I'm sort of abandoning these values because why? Because typically, we get into habits and we have bad habits and we have things that sort of contradict with our values. But once we know our values, that sort of sharpens our focus and it reminds us what to pay attention to and what to spend time on and what to spend energy and resources on. The other way that I look at my values, I just kind of honestly reflect with myself a lot. Either when I'm journaling, when I'm out jogging, something along those lines, I'll just take a look and say, okay, when are times when I have felt really good about what I'm doing? So when you feel good about something, that means that all of your needs are being met. Essentially, it means that your values are in order. If you feel bad, that means that one of your needs or one or more of your needs are not being met. That means that something is out of whack in terms of your values. You're doing things that are not necessarily in alignment with your values. So that's what I do. I pay attention to times when I feel like I'm on track and times when I feel like I'm off track. When I'm on track, that tells me I'm probably paying attention to and doing the things that I really value. When I'm off track or when I feel badly about something, that tells me that I'm probably missing out on something that I really value. The bottom line is this: I work really hard to make sure that my values dictate my priorities and that my priorities dictate my behaviors. When I do that, people look at me and say, oh, that guy looked like he really has it together. Well, I don't know if I really have it together, but I'm really sure about what my values are. And people look at me, they say, well, this guy's not confused about where he's going at all. He knows exactly where he's going. That's the kind of person I want to be. That's why I say that doing that and taking the time to do that is going to make you worth following.
When you know your values, you understand the reason why you do things. It makes it a lot easier to change when you get off track. Figure out your values so it keeps you doing the things that make you a great leader, the things that make you worth following.